Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So the last update about Unfortunate Love was how Lakshmi insulted Neelam because she was drunk, and she insulted Karishma as well. So let's continue from there. Lakshmi tells grandma that she loves her, but the family doesn't love her. Karishma says to Lakshmi that they instigate you against us and you are insulting us under the influence of Bang. Rishi comes there and takes Lakshmi's side. Lakshmi says my hero has come. Malishka comes there. Kiran asks that where did you go? Malishka says I was here. She laughs and asks, didn't you see me? Lakshmi asks Rishi that where did you go, leaving me here? She says we cannot go away from each other and says black dog. Rishi asks where is the black dog? Lakshmi says you might got it. Rishi says no, I did not get it, and Lakshmi laughed. Lakshmi says to Rishi that we should collide our heads, else black dog will bite us. Malishka stops them and says he is my Rishi. Why do you come between us? Shalu thinks that God is with us, seeing Malishka in Bang effect. She thinks that Ayush is not fine to provoke Malishka to confess the truth, and she wondered what to do to expose Malishka now that she is drunk. Malishka says to Lakshmi that Rishi is mine. I have done so much to get him, and you cannot even think of everything I have done in order to get Rishi. And she asks Lakshmi to stay away from Rishi. She says we both love each other, and she asks Rishi to say that they love each other. Karishma asks Malishka to calm down and says Rishi said that he loves you. Then why do you want to talk to Lakshmi? Malishka asks Lakshmi if Rishi will marry her and says Rishi will never marry a low-class girl like you. Rishi shouted, asking Malishka to be silent and says you will not say anything against Lakshmi. Rishi says Lakshmi is good, that nobody is like her and not even you. He asks Malishka to become like Lakshmi before she can say something to her. Malishka says to Rishi that you are favoring Lakshmi and scolding me. Rishi says no. Malishka says you want to insult me and that is why you are scolding me for Lakshmi when she is nothing to you. Shalu comes to Ayush and asks him to come back to his senses. Ayush asks her to say if he is in good condition and if he has petrol in him or not, and he gives good mileage and he laughs. Shalu pats on Ayush's face and says we have to fulfill our plan. Malishka is under the influence of Bang. Ayush says my bike is ready and he goes. Shalu tells Bani that their plan will be ruined because of Ayush. Bani says we can do something. Shalu says we should expose Malishka so that our sister and brother-in-law can unite forever. Malishka asks Lakshmi if she is great. Rishi asks Malishka to be silent and not to say anything against Lakshmi. Virendra says I talked to the Tandai guy, but he said that he did not add anything in it. But everyone is under the influence of Bang, and this must be someone else's mistake. Rishi says to Virendra that we should make Lakshmi and Malishka get fine first, before looking for who did this. Malishka asks Lakshmi to do competition with her and dance to show her value. She says you agree to Rishi's all sayings, so let's compete. Lakshmi and Malishka dances on a song and a song plays in the background, and Rano thinks if they are drunk to dance together. Everyone looks at Lakshmi and Malishka's dance. Kiran tells Sonal that she is scared and she feels that something wrong is going to happen. She says just like Lakshmi insults Neelam and Karishma, what if Malishka also become the victim of Neelam's anger because of Bang? Then I don't know what will happen, and she asks her to stop Malishka. Sonal goes to stop Malishka and she pushes her into the water tub. Rishi shouted Malishka. Kiran thinks that Sonal pushed Malishka into the water so that Malishka can come back to her senses. Shalu and Bani thinks to do something. Sonal gives her hand and asks Malishka to come out of the water, but Malishka pulls Sonal inside the water too and she laughs. Malishka asks Rishi and Lakshmi to come to the water. Malishka comes to Lakshmi and asks her to come. Shalu asks Lakshmi to come with her. Malishka says we are not enemy. Shalu says you regard Lakshmi as your enemy and you can do anything to get Rishi brother-in-law. Malishka says yes, I can do anything for my Rishi, and Bani asks if Malishka can do wrong and right. Shalu says to Malishka that she can pretend to give her life and she can trap someone. Lakshmi says Malishka can trap Rishi also and says that night nothing happened between Rishi and Malishka because Rishi will not cross his limit. Bani says Malishka cannot betray brother-in-law. Shalu says we should ask Malishka to tell us the truth and they instigate Malishka to confess her crimes. Malishka says to everyone that I can do anything for Rishi and says I tried to save Rishi but I couldn't save him and Lakshmi saved him. She says I will not forgive myself for that. She goes to Neelam and says she wanted to save Rishi but she couldn't. She says she can give her life for Rishi. Shalu asks Malishka to tell them what Lakshmi saw that night, and she asks if Malishka lied against Rishi. Malishka says what happened that day. She says you said right, nothing had happened that night and everyone is shocked. Sona thinks that Malishka and Rishi's marriage will be called off now if Malishka confessed the truth, and Neelam will slap her and they will not forgive Malishka, and Sona wondered what to do. Malishka says that night nothing happened to Rishi and she thanked Lakshmi for saving him, talking about the fire accident. She says if anything had happened to Rishi, then I would have died. Malishka faints and falls down, and Shalu gets frustrated because Malishka was already exposing herself by telling everyone that nothing happened that night, but she stops midway. So now thinks that Malishka is saved because she did not confess the full details. Malishka opens her eyes a bit and she thinks that she came back to her senses when she came out of the pool and she started her game because she knows that Shalu and Bani wanted to expose her and now she fooled everyone. Neelam comes there and tells Rishi that Malishka is feeling guilty even till now, that she couldn't save you from the fire, and says Malishka's heart is good, but Lakshmi has insulted me so much today. Malishka appreciates herself for her actions while lying down pretending to be unconscious, even though she is already out of the alcohol influence. Lakshmi is still under the influence of Bang and says I will become helicopter, and she rides helicopter with her mouth. Rishi says to Neelam that it is not Lakshmi's mistake that she insults you. He says Lakshmi was under the influence of Bang. Neelam asks Rishi to take Malishka inside and says I would undo Lakshmi. Rishi says don't do anything to Lakshmi and he takes Malishka away. Shalu and Bani owed Lakshmi. Kiran asks Shalu if she wanted to ruin her daughter's image. Shalu tells her that you might not know your daughter, or maybe you were also involved in her plans. She says she is sure that brother-in-law cannot do this and he did not get intimate with Malishka and everything was just a lie. Shalu says to Kiran that they tried to expose Malishka, but Neelam asks, did you add Bang in Malishka's drink? Shalu says we tried to, but we did not do it and we don't know who did it. Rano takes Shalu and Bani's side when Neelam scolds them and Rano asks them to come home. Rishi takes Malishka to the room and says, I did not know that you were feeling guilty, that you couldn't save me from the fire. Neelam takes Lakshmi away from there angrily, and Grandma assures Shalu and Bani that she is with Lakshmi and nothing would happen to her. Neelam takes Lakshmi to her room and says, you will not come out of the room. Lakshmi says, even my mother used to do this, and she will lock me in the room. Neelam says, I am not your mother and I can never be. Lakshmi rests on the bed and sleeps. Neelam tells Rishi that she has left Lakshmi in her room. She says until Lakshmi regains consciousness, then you will not go to meet her, and Rishi says okay. Karishma, Kiran and others blame Lakshmi and her sister for all the drama. Karishma asks Grandma if she will not say anything. Grandma says I don't say anything to those who did mistake in an unconscious state. Karishma says everyone saw what Lakshmi said. Grandma says Lakshmi said right and she did not insult anyone and everything Lakshmi said is the truth. Neelam comes there and says to Grandma that so you feel that Lakshmi said right and she did not insult me. She says I now understood what I mean to you. Grandma asks Neelam not to punish Lakshmi. Neelam says what if I don't agree and what if I punish Lakshmi? Grandma says think of it as my request, but Neelam refuses and says that she will punish Lakshmi for insulting her. Grandma says then think of it as my order and Neelam gets angry. Rishi comes to his room and looks at his face in the mirror. He recalls his moment with Lakshmi and says, now I understand why love is called as a disease. I cannot think of anything other than Lakshmi. He takes Lakshmi's paper rose and says love color never fade away and there is love in Lakshmi's every color. Rishi says to himself that Lakshmi said that she doesn't love me, but I love her and I cannot lie to myself. He says I love Lakshmi so much and I felt her love even when she applies color to my face. He says I love Lakshmi a lot and he keeps his hand on his heart and says I love Lakshmi a lot. Okay guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to give this video a like and share it as well. And don't forget to check the comment section for the link to the next episode. And I will see you all again in my next video. Bye guys.